Welcome back to the High Sierra Report. Mark is still in studio now. First, I want to hear about how you got into running and then into triathlons.
My first experience of a sporting event was finishing last as a 10-year-old in a cross-country race, and I thought, well, there's no real shame in being last. And I went away. I used to run to school and back rather than catch the bus. And the next time I was third but last, and I could see a small improvement.
Oh, so it started when you were 10 years old.
10 years old, and I just kept
and
running.
How old are you now?
I'm 52. How young am I now?
How young are you now, exactly?
Positive attitude.
Totally. So you're in the middle of that 50 to 55 age group for this triathlon?
Yes.
For the Ironman.
For the Ironman, we have 5-year age group. So, you know, some people don't look forward to their 55th or their 60th age group, but I do, because you're the youngest in that 5-year age group and you have much more chance at getting on the podium.
Totally, that's a great attitude. Now let's talk about training for this, because obviously you've been doing it for a number of years. How many triathlons have you been in, first of all?
I've competed in over 460 triathlons in 23 countries.
That's amazing. Now how many Ironmans?
35 Ironmans. I've started and finished every single one of those, but Ironman Lake Tahoe, I believe, is going to be my biggest challenge. It's at altitude, the water's cold, there's amazing hills. It's going to be pretty tough.
Totally. Now, when you first started training, what was your weakest sport of the three?
I come from a running background. I eventually built up to marathons, wanted another challenge, took up triathlon. I entered a triathlon, and then I thought I better learn to swim. I've only got 6 months, and that really made me progress to improve my swimming. But it took 5 years to get competent at swimming, so I was competitive in a triathlon.
So this isn't something you learn overnight. Obviously, you've been training for years, but somebody who is just trying to get into the sport, you would say, hey, just put your mind down, put your head down and just go for it. You can learn how to swim if you want to learn.
Yes, I would take expert advice. Don't learn bag technique by swimming on your own. You know, even if you've been a competitive swimmer, like, you know, I believe you were in the past, you still need to get that technique to set you off on your way. And you really want to, triathlon is all about saving energy. So you want to be economical in the swim, you know, economical on the bike, so it gives you energy for the marathon.
Now, when you say economical, do you want to keep your heart rate between a certain range, or how are you efficient with your body?
Well, I use a heart rate monitor all the time, and if my running efficiency or my swimming or cycling efficiency is not so good that day, I can see my heart rate's higher for the same pace that I'm keeping.
Now, did you notice any changes when you came to Tahoe with your heart rate?
Yeah, absolutely. My resting heart rate's normally 50 beats a minute, and it shot up to 64 on the first night I arrived. I checked it this morning, it's now down to 52, so it's going in the right direction, which means I must have more hemoglobin in my body. I'm still not totally acclimatised.
So how can diet help with that?
Iron-rich foods are really good. Almonds are good, you know, beef is very good, liver's very good. And you know, and just make sure you're having vitamin C when you're absorbing the iron to allow you to produce more hemoglobin. And it's important to snack throughout the day, but because we're at altitude, there's less, you know, the air's drier. You go out for a run, you don't necessarily get sweaty. You think you haven't perspired, but we are getting dehydrated as we breathe.
You better get some water in your system then. We've been on this show talking for a while.
This is the longest I've sat down for, I think, for a whole year since I've been training for the race.
Well, so you also do some training of other athletes as well. We'll talk about that because you have a book, I believe. Let's do a little teaser before we end this segment.
I've used my 30 years experience to write the complete book of Ironman training, and it's for the sprint, Olympic, the middle, up to the Ironman. So everything you need to know, all ages, all abilities.
I'm going to have to cut you off. We're going to come right back and talk more about this book right after this.